Hello, everyone. Good morning and good evening to everyone from different parts of the world. My name is Kaushni Tiwari, and today I'm here to give you a guide to volunteering during high school. Throughout the presentation, if anyone has any questions, you can feel free to drop your questions in the Q&A chat bot, and I will answer all your questions at the end of the presentation. So let's begin. Hi, so as I just mentioned, I'm Kaushni. I'm a rising senior at Jeshri Periwal International School in Jaipur, India, and I'm eagerly anticipating the college application season as I apply to the Common App to universities in the United States. I am setting my sights at the Wharton School at the University of Pennsylvania to pursue my studies in finance and management. Now, when it comes to volunteering, throughout my journey in high school, I have volunteered with organizations such as the United Nations, UNICEF, UNEP, UNHCR, Girl Up Foundation in collaboration with the United Nations, and a few organizations within India such as Purva and Hope Rise Foundation. Now, if I'm not volunteering for these organizations, I like to call myself a bit as a animal activist. I have been an animal activist and have been volunteering for animals and with animals ever since I was 8, because yeah, it kind of runs in my family. And if I'm not busy volunteering or studying, because I am kind of in the IBDP program. So anyone here, if you're in the IBDP program, I feel you, especially if you're rising senior. I love creating and listening to music, and I love playing my violin, and I love engaging in a lot of discussions about social work and etc. And I love watching football or soccer for a few of you. And don't come for me, but my favorite team is Chelsea. I know we didn't do that well this year in the Premier League, but hey, we finished sixth. That was a good ending. Now, so what are we covering today in this presentation? We're going to be covering the reasons the reasons to volunteer in high school, how to find the right opportunity, overcoming challenges with volunteering, and how do we actually get started with volunteering. So, to introduce this presentation, I want to start off with a quote from Mahatma Gandhi, which is, "The best way to find yourself is to lose yourself in the service of others." I think this quote is pretty self-explanatory, but yeah, if you ever feel like you're just too stressed or you have too much work and you just want to break from everything, trust me, go volunteer or just do service for others. You're making an impact and you're going to feel good. I've done it personally and I have felt really good in times that I was really stressed. Okay, so the reasons to volunteer, if you can see the meme with the elephant there, I love volunteering and volunteering is my favorite, and I think it should be someone's favorite, and it is really good, right? Okay, so number one, first reason to volunteer is personal growth. When you're volunteering, you grow internally, of course you do, but volunteering, you gain a lot of sense of responsibility. So suppose you've been asking your parents that you want a puppy for Christmas in the past like 4 to 5 years, right? And you've been volunteering the past 2 years at an animal shelter. You know when to take your dogs out, you know when to feed the dogs. So you gain a sense of responsibility, which you can use in with your parents to ever like negotiate a deal for something. So yeah, personal growth. You learn a lot about time management, you learn about more about yourself, and volunteering can actually help a lot with your emotional and your EQ, your emotional intelligence, and your your IQ. So number two is skill development. Volunteering, you can develop skills such as time management, communication, team building. You can learn about management a lot more. These skills, which are very, very important for you, not only personally, but professionally later on as well. We're all like probably high schoolers or students in like freshman year of college, or middle schoolers. A lot of us build something in our life, would look out for internships. A lot of times we may get rejected, and in the future, post internships, we may look for jobs. We may get rejected because we may lack certain skills. These skills, which because you don't have so-called experience, you can develop through volunteering. So suppose I volunteered to teach certain kids a subject, I'm developing some skill that may or may not be used somewhere else in my professional life. So if you're ever in a job interview in the future and they're like, yeah, but you really don't have the time management skills, you can be like, hey, hold up. Look at my CV. I volunteer with the United Nations, and my time management, I think, is pretty on spot. So, and number three, I'm coming from time management, is college applications. Of course, a lot of us do volunteer to put these as activities on our Common App or our UCAS, etc. It is really, really good to have volunteering at college applications because it tells your admissions officers that, yeah, you went beyond just academics or sports or music. Now, when it comes to the point of college applications, a lot of people find it to be a very controversial point for two reasons. One, people can claim that, hey, you're volunteering for the service and the impact, volunteer for the sake of it, like for the cause of it. Why are you volunteering for common apps or like your colleges? And the second perspective will be people will be volunteering for the colleges because they need activities to put on their colleges in order to get into a good college, right? And I'm totally for both views. I think I'm a mix of both. I think I'm a mixture of someone who does it, for the impact on their service and for my common app. I think I personally lean to the side where I do it for like, the service and the impact I have. But if that's not you, that's completely okay. You're still volunteering. And if you only volunteer for the college applications, you did have some impact or someone or something. Talking about impact, it brings me to my fourth point, which is community impact. When you do volunteering, you can impact your entire community. You foster a sense of belonging and you foster foster of love and care all around. You come together with your community. Suppose there was a new neighbor that shifted in, but you never knew how to open up to them, speak to them. You volunteer together in your local park or your local recreational center and you just grew closer. So yeah, volunteering, like I'll give you like an example when it comes to community impact. It's like suppose you're going and painting your local children's hospital within your community. You're impacting the students, the children within that hospital and the staff, the nurses and the doctors. It's making their day better and stuff. So yeah, you're impacting someone. And number five, networking. One of the biggest reasons to volunteer is to network. You never know who you may run into when volunteering. I suppose you're volunteering the great city of Boston, Massachusetts, right? And you've gone to volunteer to for a on suppose you're volunteering on Earth Day, where there's a huge drive where you plant a lot of trees and you're planting, and you stumble across this one lady or man, and you talk to them a lot about yourself, etc., etc. You maybe know their name, they tell you your name, you search up their name, to, like stalk them a bit. Turns out they're Harvard's admissions officers. So yeah, networking can get you to great places and a lot of places. One of the reasons I'm here as your host today for this webinar is because I networked myself, and yeah, that's why I'm here. Now, we know the reasons of volunteering, but what are the benefits of volunteering? Number one, enhanced mental health. I, as a founder of a mental health organization, can speak about this personally and professionally as well. One way is when you're volunteering, you can get rid of all your stress, your anxiety, and everything because you get engaged into what you're doing so much, you forget about everything around you. It can help your well-being so much. Volunteering, suppose you're volunteering in the fresh air, it helps a lot just to, get that fresh air and stuff. Okay, so improved academic performance. When you're volunteering, suppose you're volunteering to teach a student chemistry. So if you're in the 11th grade and you're helping your junior in grade 10, learn like the topic of stoichiometry within chemistry, which is a big complex. One thing my teacher told me is whenever you're learning a topic, always teach it to someone else because it's the best way you can learn it yourself. So you learn it 2, 3 times, but you're not able to like, fully grasp the concept for you to like prepare for examinations. Volunteer to tutor someone and volunteer and tutor and teach them chemistry. Few times you're teaching a lot of students, you're gonna get that concept engraved into your head and you're gonna be a perfect master of stoichiometry. where stoichiometry is a very, very tough concept to master. So yeah, you're a legend if you can master stoichiometry. Number three, life skills and personal development. As I said before, one of the reasons to volunteer is for personal growth, and one of the benefits also is life skills and personal development. You just gain a lot of life skills you never know you need. So like suppose you are volunteering at Red Cross or like by the pool as a lifeguard, you maybe learn how to give CPR. Maybe in the future when you're at the beach, someone drowning, you can give them CPR and you can save their life. So one of the biggest life skills. Number four, career exploration and experience. You may be wondering, how does this with volunteering what? Okay, let me give you an example. Suppose you're a student who wants to go into medicine, right, in college or in the future, but you're also really, really, really not attracted, but you're very attached, suppose, wildlife conservatory, okay? You love advocating for animals, you love taking care of wild animals and getting them free. Maybe you want to be a wild animal, like you want to be an animal activist, you don't know. To volunteering, you can do different volunteering in different fields. So I can volunteer in medicine, astrophysics, at a zoo, wherever. That gives you a straight path and gives you a bit of an idea of where you want to spend your life, in which field and which direction. So yeah, volunteering, it can give you a sense of direction into which career you want to maybe pursue later on in college and after that. So if you're someone who's into geology, or, or someone who's into I don't know, let's say arts, right? So maybe you're wanting to paint a children's hospital or someone's car, and you're like, and you love painting your entire life, and you start doing it, and you're like, hey, maybe I'm not that interested in volunteering. I mean, in painting, but maybe I'm more actually inclined to astrophysics, so etc. Gives you a sense of direction. And number five, community and global awareness. You volunteer, you maybe get to know a lot about your community. So maybe you were um volunteering to cut your neighbor's grass, and after that they give you like a cup of iced tea or lemonade, and you get to talking to them. You know a lot about them, and then you get to know a lot about the people in your community, and you get to know a lot about your you know area as well. So yeah, you volunteer for one cause, you can spread a global awareness for that. One example is Mr. Beast's Team Trees, where when he volunteered to plant 20 million trees with every one of us, like his subscribers and the general public, there was a global awareness because a lot of people didn't know about the fires in Australia or in the Amazon, where the trees were actually planted. All right, so what are the types of volunteering? So you have a few different types. One is community volunteering. You can volunteer at your local recreation center. You can work at the park, maybe installing new sets of swings for little children. Um, then you have environmental volunteering. As I mentioned, you can volunteer at the beach to clean up a beach or a lakeside or a river that's been heavily polluted, so you're doing something for the environment. Third, educational volunteering. So yeah, tutoring different kids, teaching them some life skills, teaching them robotics, etc., etc. Educational volunteering can also be like, I'm teaching someone music. So if I know the violin and I'm teaching a new kid how to play his majors and minors, you're still teaching someone. That's still this form of education. Then we have health and social care volunteering. So this kind of overlaps a bit with community, because if you're, let's say, volunteering at a hospital, yeah, it does come into health. And for social care, it can be if you're volunteering at an orphanage or you're volunteering at an old age home. You maybe go there, you spend time with them, and you give them some stuff they need, and yeah. Then you have animal volunteering, my personal favorite, of course. So animal volunteering can be as simple as just giving them a bowl of food and water. Trust me, guys, you're just saving them, and you're just giving them a life as well. More than that, you can do is so I'm based in India. So if there are any Indian students or someone like Southeast Asia or in environments like this, we have a lot of stray dogs, right? And a lot of deaths of these stray dogs or cats or animals are due to passing vehicles. So what I did with my grandmom a few years ago is we got these collars which were reflective. So if you ever go cycling and you have like that reflective um reflected like button or like something on your cycle that reflects so cars can see when you're cycling in the dark. We missed like similar reflective color. So in the dark, if like a car is coming, they can see a dog from far away. Then, of course, you have virtual volunteering. So again, this overlaps the different types of volunteering, such as education. Virtual volunteering, suppose you got 16 on your SAT and you put out a post on LinkedIn saying that, hey, anyone who wants to I get some lessons on SAT, hop on a Zoom call or Google Meet and let's do that. So yeah, you virtually volunteer, or it can be donating to a campaign, suppose on Keto or Fuelogy or GoFundMe. So you are virtually volunteering a bit because you are giving something for like impact. So yeah. Now, how do we actually start volunteering? Number one, the biggest thing you should ever do, sit down and self-assess yourself. What interests you? What are your passions? What skills you have? And where do I want to impact? So let's take me for example. What interests me? Okay, football. What are my passions? Football, soccer. What skills do I have? I can play football really well. I know time management. I know leadership. I know communication, and I know team working. Where do I want to impact? Maybe I know that my local school's football team, they do need a bit help with finishing off their shots, or maybe the goalkeeper needs a bit of help with saving the shots. Okay, that's it. I know all of that. Now what? Research opportunities. Go to Google, go to your Safari, your local browser on your laptop or phone or your iPad. Search up NGOs, organizations, community groups, and just get to know if they have an open spot for you to volunteer, or if you can just go on spot and volunteer, do that. But always make sure, align your choices that I want to volunteer in this organization with the values you hold. Do not change your values based on the choice you're making just for the sake of it. Number three, use websites, social media. So if you know, suppose Nike, right? Go to the website, go to the social media, scroll, scroll, scroll. You never know. They may have some opportunity of volunteering to do a beach cleanup in order to make their new Nike shoes. And fourth, of course, we do have LinkedIn and a lot of volunteering portals, which I will give you the resources to as well at the end of the presentation, and you can note down. And then you have goals. You want to set some goals, right? So if you're volunteering, you want to have some goals like, okay, I'm volunteering. I want to maybe make some new friends in this area. I want to make some new friends in this area. Then specific contributions. So, suppose you're volunteering, what contribution you want to have? If you're volunteering at a animal shelter, what is the contribution you want to have? Do you want to get like 5 or 10 or 50 animals adopted? You want to get them, back on their feet? You want to get them surgeries, etc., etc. What do you want to achieve? So specific contributions, how much you're giving. So how much time do you give to get this one dog adopted? And what you want to achieve is like, I want to get 50 dogs adopted. And what skills to develop? What skills are you looking to develop? So suppose you have leadership as a skill, but you lack time management and you want to really develop your time management skills. That'll be a skill you want to develop. And finally, how do we start our journey after doing your self-assessment, you research, you have your goals in place? What's the first thing you do? And the fourth thing you do is you start your journey. You actually start contacting organizations. So the list of organizations you initially researched, you have them, you call them up, you email them, you're like, hey, what roles do you have? I'm a current 9th grader or 10th grader or 11th grader, etc. And I know this are the skills I have, these are what interests me. Do you have any open roles for me? You can attend a lot of fairs and a lot of meetings because that can also get you a lot of volunteering opportunities. And fourth, trust your instincts. If you feel like, hey, this might be a place so I can volunteer, it's safe and sound, go ahead, start it if you don't want to do any research. So, as I talked before, we do have Mr. Beast's campaign. So one was Team Trees, where they planted 20 million trees, and they did do that. They have 24 million today, and $1 is a tree planted. So this campaign is still live. You can just go to teamtrees.org, and yeah. Another movement he did was Team Seas, where he wanted 34 million pounds of trash removed, and he did that. So a lot of people donated. So this can be virtual volunteering, what you donated, or you can be someone who actually went and did environment volunteering, where you actually went and got the pounds of trash outside the seabed. Now, what to expect of volunteering? You know what to do, you know the reasons, you know the benefits, you know how to start, and you have some examples like Mr. Beast, right? I mean, he just hit 300 million subscribers. So like, let's just congratulate the guy on his YouTube. Not advertising Mr. Beast, but yeah. What do we expect from volunteering? We're going to expect three things, right? Of course, you have to start balanced school and volunteering. You will be expected to do well in school and maybe to do well where you're volunteering and in the organization. So as I said, set some goals and prioritize your goals. If you need like a 7 in the IBTP, like suppose your math H and you want a 7, make that your academic priority. Make sure academics come first. Guys, you can volunteer as much as you want, but make sure your academics never get left out in the way. Always do that. It's a very, very important step about your entire high school journey. Set clear goals, like set a balance between both volunteering and academic goals, and create a schedule. I'll show you my own schedule that I made in a slide after this. Secondly, communicate. Learn to say no. If you're volunteering somewhere and you're done volunteering them, and they're like, no, hey, you gotta volunteer. Say, no, I'm done volunteering. I gave my time. I have a lot more things to do. I need to catch up on academics. I'm sorry, but I cannot volunteer anymore for this period of time. Say no, move on. Number two, communicate to your teachers. Tell them that, I'm volunteering. So maybe, I suppose if your teacher's calling you or telling you to stay after school, maybe to finish a project, be like, hey, teach, can I just do that at home? Because I kind of have to go volunteer. Tell them, communicate with them, communicate with the coordinators, and most importantly, always communicate with their parents. And number three, stay organized, no matter in your schoolwork or your volunteering journey that you have. Stay organized throughout. Third, self-care. You're volunteering, you're doing good in schools, but you need some time for yourself always. Review and adjust. If you think that you're exhausting yourself a bit, you're burning out a lot, review, adjust your timetable, your schedule, and always put yourself at the top priority. Stay flexible with everything you're doing. Seek support if you really, really need it, and just have some time for relaxation. I know I said volunteering can give you relaxation, but if you're someone who volunteers a lot and wants relaxation from volunteering, take it. Maybe go get some popcorn, you get some pizza or some Coke and Coca-Cola and just sit back and watch the new, I don't know, Minions or Despicable Me movie. Take that time for yourself. So here is my old personal schedule that I have. This is on my Notion. And I have my daily routine. So everything that I need to do from time to time. I have like relaxation and dinner here, and I'll have like wind down, break, review, work, and everything. This is another schedule I have for my assignments in school. So I'm always on track with all my subjects. If I have exam, I have an upcoming assignment, homework, task, quiz, etc., etc. All right. So some of my own experiences with volunteering, as you can see, I did volunteer with the UNA Star. So here is a certificate that I got. Now, when you volunteer, you may not always get a certificate, but if you do want something, if like suppose colleges ask you for it, you can go feel free and ask for a letter of recommendation or LOR. You are entitled to that. So if you think you did really well, go and ask for it. They can give that to you if they cannot provide certificates or they do not provide certificates. Because yes, sometimes you may need it for your resumes, your circle vitae, that is your CV, or your colleges. Second, here, if you can see, is a campaign I did with my friend called Samia for our foundation that we have called Hope Rise, which works for facial trauma and helps restore people's injuries. So we raised 50,000 rupees initially to fund two patients surgeries. We continue to do that. We continue to gather funds. We continue to do a lot of research and development for hospitals that we work with for facial trauma to see better ways and less cost effective ways for people who cannot afford this surgery, right? Third, here, if you can see, is a snippet of a few blind kids playing soccer or football. What we hosted was an event called Scout Me, where I volunteered all my time to make sure people can people with disabilities can also play a sport that we can. And I made Rajasthan's first women's football team. So yeah, I volunteered, I hosted an event, I hosted training sessions, I got the top coaches of India and Rajasthan to come and help them. So with this, they still play tournaments, right? And these people come from, lower economic backgrounds where they may need the money. So through this, they do gather their money, they earn a bit of living as well with the disability, because oftentimes people show off people with disabilities saying that, hey man, yeah, you can work, you can do this. And fourth is a picture of me and my friends with the organization Parva, where we gave a few fridges away to a local village in Jaipur. So in Jaipur, we have surrounding villages like Mahapur and etc., where in Jaipur it gets really, really, really cold in the winters and very, very, very hot in the summers. So we made a fridge where you can store your food and it's cool during the summers and it can be warm enough during the winters as well. And I don't know if you can see, but there's a bit of a tap there where they can store water to have it cool as well during the summers. So we give like 80 plus of these away. And yeah, it was really, really nice to see a lot of them, the people who received them having a smile on their face. You did something good. Now, the resources. One resource, if you're based in India, is Volunteer Mauka. It is a site and a portal a few of my friends made for volunteering. You can go to it, you can search up different opportunities. Number two, of course, you have LinkedIn. Go to the job section and you can find a lot of resources. You can find, if you network through LinkedIn, a lot of people often make a lot of posts. So you can get a lot of different like resources about volunteering with Ivy League graduates and alums and etc. Third, you have round period. Round period, I think everyone has access to. You can go to internships, scholarships, and a lot of opportunities. You can filter in your career or field you want to volunteer in. So if you want to volunteer in business or physics, you can start out there. Another platform is called I Volunteer. So again, a lot of volunteering opportunities, a great resource, and it's a very good volunteering portal. And then, of course, we have the United Nations websites. You have UNICEF, you have UNEP, you have UNHR, etc., etc. The UN has a lot of volunteering opportunities, guys. Go and bag these volunteering opportunities. United Nations will have the best volunteering opportunities, and these are the best ones to make stand out on your college applications. Then, of course, you have Red Cross or Blue Cross, depending on which part of the which part of the world you are in. And then you have the foundation called the Girl Up Foundation, which is also in collaboration with the United Nations. So I know a lot of people will be asking me, hey, Kashni, the United Nations, you gotta be 18. Oftentimes you gotta be 18, oftentimes you don't. But if you want a short guarantee that you do not need to be 18, Girl Up Foundation. Search up the Girl Up Foundation, start a chapter and volunteer. Or if there's a chapter when they're studying, go and volunteer because again, Career Foundation or college application is one of the best volunteering opportunities you can have within your application. Please know I'm not advising or I'm not advertising any of these companies or brands or organizations. I personally work with them and my experiences with them are very, very good. So personally speaking, I can tell you, yeah, these are good. Of course, if none of these suit your interest, you can always go to your internet browser and just search up local organizations or local volunteering opportunities near me, and you'll find something. If not, you have your parents, you have a network of your friends, just ask them. You will find something to volunteer. If you don't find an organization, as I said, maybe volunteering to paint your local sidewalk or maybe it's volunteer to feed the strays, and that's enough. When you're still volunteering, you're doing impactful service for someone. Okay, so if anyone has any questions, you can of course you can ask me right now in the Q&A box, or you can contact me at LinkedIn. This is my LinkedIn URL. just something it looks like. So if you ever stumble across this is who I am. And you can email me as well. So yeah. Okay, so there are no Q&A questions as of now, but if you do have any, you can ask them. And what we've covered today. So we covered reasons to volunteer in high school, how to find the right opportunity, overcoming challenges with volunteering, and how to get started. So thanks a million. Thanks for joining this presentation webinar from Millie's side and my side. There is one pop in the chat box. So yeah, okay. So we have no questions as of now. And I'm just going to go back to the contact me information slide. So if you're hesitant to contact me right now within the webinar, you can contact me here and I'll answer any of your questions. You can, do a connection, send me an invitation, and we can link up and I can answer all the questions about volunteering. And if you want new volunteering opportunities, you can contact me. I have a few foundations. I've one, two organizations that I run, and another one that I'm building only for teens, where I love to have all of you come up and on board with me as well. So it is 7:03 Indian Standard Time. Yeah, so no questions and anything. So that means I did really great explaining to all of you. I will take that as a win. And yeah, so one last note, volunteering is gonna be a journey. It's gonna be great. And just do it, just trust yourself, just enjoy the process in the end. And yeah, hope you have a great time volunteering. Again, any questions, please contact me or contact anyone from Millie, and we'll love to answer your questions. So I think this can conclude the webinar and the presentation. So yeah, to people in my side of the world, good night and good evening. People who are just waking up, who've just joined this presentation from the United Kingdom or the United States, good morning, and I hope you have a great rest of your day.